I guess about 30 seconds now, I think.
Okay, okay. I shall try to keep my nerves under control.
You'll be all right. Yeah.
So good.
All right, 10 seconds. Okay, so I'd like to be joined now by Claudia Collins, who is running for Science Faculty Rep. Claudia, welcome to a candidate interview night. First question to ask you, what made you want to stand for this role?
Hi, well, good evening, first of all. Thank you for having me. Yes, why do I want to be Science Faculty Rep? I think there is loads to do and to continue the work that's been done previously. I think the pandemic has had a huge impact on sciences in regards to, well, actually on everyone really, but definitely on sciences too, in regards to face in-person teaching, and I'd like to get involved in the stuff about semesterization and modularization. So I really want to get my hands in there. There's lots to do.
No, fantastic. I'm just going to touch on that because you mentioned like COVID and the impact there, and you mentioned it in your manifesto quite a lot as well. So kind of what sort of stuff are you planning on kind of pushing forward? What ideas do you have with regards to kind of, you know, moving on from like the pandemic, as you say in your manifesto?
Well, I mean, it is a good question because we don't know what the future holds. As a nursing student, I work on the front line with all my nursing students in our cohort in health sciences. So we don't know what the future will hold, but what we can try is to minimize the impact that the past restriction have on how we can finish our studies. So we have, for instance, in health sciences, a lot of practice hours that we have to do. And I know that a lot of biology and chemistry have to do laboratory hours, anything where basically you have to be there in person. And I think it needs to be discussed as either things have to be minimized or just altered so that we can, you know, get the best out of what we had and what we're going to have in future as well.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. So, as you mentioned in your manifesto about just touching on the mentioned nursing there, you mentioned you were a course rep for a couple of years. So, kind of, I was going to kind of ask you a little bit more about that in terms of, did you have any big successes in that things you pushed for resulted in, like, you know, moving towards progress?
Yes, definitely. It was just recently in this second term. So I'm second time running in the second year of my cohort. And we started out with a module where we were supposed to go back into in-person teaching, which is great news. However, we were still in the middle of the pandemic, and we have vulnerable students across the cohort, and a lot of concern as to do we have to go back into big rooms and COVID secure, basically. And so I pushed for the possibility to have one seminar online, as we had all year before in a Zoom version, to enable people who do not want to mix just yet in a big group and vulnerable people to join in a discussion online. So we had them both running. We had an in-person and a Zoom seminar, which was great.
Oh, no, fair enough. And so just briefly on this one, you mentioned, you know, you're a mature student with maybe with kind of a wide range of educational experiences. How do you think you will be relatable to the entire science cohort?
Well, it's a good question. Yes, I am a mature student. I've got 2 master degrees already, and finished them in Germany. So I'm from Germany as well. My first degree, my major degree, is in social sciences and in engineering and in biology. So it's like a bridge between. And I had a lot of biochemistry and things already. So I touched a lot of sciences, and my second master's I went into geography, so another natural sciences. And now I'm back in health sciences, so I cover a lot, basically.
Brilliant. Claudia, thank you so much for your time. Now over to Studio Red.
Talk about